What up, y'all? We're doing a wrap up for the last 2 months. I didn't read almost anything, so don't look at me for that. But you did.
I did. I did not finish being a healer for the readathon.
You're a barbarian, Meek. You can't be a healer. Like, we know, you already know this.
Yeah, so I was supposed to read 10 books. I read 7 in August, which is really good. But
and readathons are kind of trash.
I like them. I think they're fun, but
all I'm saying.
They're a lot more fun when I don't put pressure on myself to keep reading. Like, I was having a good reading month. I just kept going, and I was still enjoying myself, so that's that. So, July. In July, I didn't read very much. I think I read 4 books.
Oh, it's 4 times more than I did.
Did you finish nothing in July? I think you did.
That wouldn't be 4 times, Meek.
True.
That would be infinite. Times 4.
I think you're right, though. Like, I don't think you finished, or I'm right. I don't think you finished
I think you are right. But I'm not counting months. I'm just doing the last 2 months as one, because that's all that matters to me.
So, this was a book club book, Gideon the Ninth. It is a crazy hyped book. I did not like it, like at all. Yeah, I think this is a way overrated book, and I think the marketing is trash. Like, I wish that they didn't market it as lesbian necromancers in space, because first off, I didn't even realize that this was supposed to be any sort of in space until long after I read it. The lesbian thing, yeah, okay, fine. I mean, the character is the main character, and that's great, but they make it seem like the marketing team made it seem like it was such a big part of the book, and it's not at all. And the necromancers, she's not even a necromancer. So it doesn't make sense, because I don't know. The marketing for this doesn't make any sense. I wish that they had focused more on, like, what the story was actually about, and not stuff that people want to hear about, but it's not actually about this. I don't know.
So, this may be a little controversial. You guys know I'm known for that. But anyway, my point is isn't it kind of less, what's the word I'm looking for? Diverse?
Mm-hmm.
To specify that it is lesbian necromancers? Like you don't say straight necromancers in space.
It's not less diverse, but it just, to me, you're marketing it as something. I cannot tell you how many people I watched on BookTube that were like, lesbian necromancers in space, that's all you have to tell me, I'm all in. Well, guess what? That's not what this book is about. Like, at all.
But isn't that also, like, not a good reason to be all in?
I don't know. To me, no. Like, to me, the marketing, like, I wanted to know, okay, what's going on in the book? What's the story? Like, the synopsis doesn't even go into detail, and it doesn't tell you what this book is going to be about.
I'm going to go into my favorite book I always talk about, Sufficiently Advanced Magic. All right?
Okay.
I love how he wrote the main character. The main character's sexuality is very fluid. He gets asked to a dance by another male character. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And when it happened, it was so natural. Look, I'm getting goosebumps from it. It was done so well. I'm like, I want to see more things like this. Just write, if a character is gay, just write that character gay. Don't make a point.
Don't make that what the story's about. Like, I understand.
Well, no, but the thing is, it's not what it's about. It's just what they focused on for the advertisement. Yes. So that's my gripe with it. Is like, that shouldn't be the thing. Write the book. If that's what it's about, that's great. Make it natural, because like that's what I want in books, and like I want to see more of that in books. But I don't want the ad to be all about that, because that's not gonna like
that's the thing nowadays though.
I know,
like people,
it is. And our channel may get some flack for this. So if you have a problem with it, let us know down below. You know, tell us what you think.
I mean, so Gideon, which is the character that they're describing.
Is that her?
Yeah.
Okay.
As being the lesbian of the story, like, she's the best part of this book. Like, I understand why the book is about her. She is by far the best part about this book. She is a super awesome character. She's funny. She's witty. She's a great character, a well-written character, which is why I gave this book a 2. I'm just spoiling it now. Because other than that, the story, the plot, I feel almost like they had to tell you in the advertising, like, about her, like, I feel like they had to give you something in the advertising that made you want to read the book, because the actual story and the plot was nothing to me. Like, I didn't care at all. The book was boring to me. I thought the whole plot, the whole reason why they were in that situation was boring. Too many characters. I just couldn't get behind this book at all. I wish that we had Gideon as a character in a different story. I would be all over that. But the story behind this was just not good, in my opinion. But yeah, I 100% agree. I wish we would have more diversity in books, but just don't make it all about that. Just make it natural and genuine. And that's what I love.
Steven Universe is another one.
It's like a great example.
Yep.
Like, you have women loving women, men loving women, men loving men, and it's just so natural, and like they just make it a part of the show, and you never think twice about it, and they don't market it as that. It's just natural. Like, I wish stuff like that was a thing.
I think that's just the right way to do it. That's the way it should be, and that's it. I will never like read a book that they're like, you know, they say like, oh, it's about a straight guy that makes wands. I'm not gonna go, oh, straight guy that makes wands. I'm all in because that's me. You know, like that doesn't matter to me. It could be like it doesn't matter. Like it just I don't know. But that's just my point of view.
I feel like we're gonna get a lot of hate for this, but that's
whatever. That's how we feel.
Like,
it's a free country, right? We're allowed to feel the way we want to feel, or the way we can, the way we do.
I wish there was more of that in books, like more diversity. But it's just I don't like when you market it as only that, unless it's a romance novel. Fine. Like, if I go into a romance knowing
that... But romance has a lot of, like, sexuality, and it's all about, like, sex.
That's what I mean. Like, when I heard that about this book, I'm like, oh, man, there's going to be, like, a lot of, like, sex scenes in it and stuff like that. There was nothing. No romance, no sex, none of that stuff whatsoever. I was anticipating it, and I'm sure other people were, too, when they hear that type of blurb.
Is there actually, like, ratings for books, like, when it comes to, like... for adults?
No, there should be.
Like
X-rated
movies.
and stuff. No.
I mean, I'm sure there's X-rated stuff.
But
right?
like a blurb like that makes you think that, but it's not. Like if I feel like reading a romance book, which I do on occasion, if it says like, you know, I don't really pay attention to that either. Like I base it off of reviews and stuff, and I've read, you know, mailman.
I've read stuff about mailmans.
Men loving men. I've read men loving women. I've read
male
women loving women. I've read all sorts of romances, and if you're going into the book knowing that that's what it is and that's what you're looking for, then beautiful. But this was a fantasy sci-fi type of book, and they didn't hone in on that.
I think
that's what I wish they did.
But that's the thing. Like a lot of people, for lack of a better, again, I'm gonna stir the pot a little bit. All right, I'm gonna stir it. People nowadays are looking for something to like stand up for, right? And that's one of the things that a lot of times they read that they don't really care what the book's about. But if it says that in the thing, I'm gonna automatically like this because this is the right thing to like. I'm sorry. I mean, I know you don't fully feel the same way that I do about this, but that's how I feel. Like, it seems like the character was actually a good character.
She was great.
But they advertised her as the only identifying thing is that she's a lesbian necromancer, right? Yeah,
and
but
she's
there's
not a
so much
necromancer.
more. Oh, she's not?
No.
Oh, geez, that makes it worse.
That's what kills me. I'm like, I can't with
So at the beginning of the year, we made these. We have two of them. We have one for me and one for Meekachii. And she's been reading her books. We gave ourselves a lot of space. You're going to laugh when you see mine. I have like a little blurb right here, and that's it. My books tend to be more... I'm more picky of my books. I don't take as many risks. I just pick more books that I have a feeling that I'm really going to like. And occasionally... I have to read books for the book club that I know I'm not.
Hey, this was a book club book, and you didn't read it.
Well,
so.
I know. I knew I wasn't gonna like it. You know what I'm saying?
Then we had a buddy read.
But honestly, look, that synopsis made me think I wasn't gonna like it more than
I know.
You know, like that's the problem.
Because you don't like romances.
No.
So they focused on the romance aspect.
And I also don't like synopsis that focus on things like that.
I like romance on occasion, but I just picked it because it's a super hyped book, and I was like, even if it turns out to be a romance, like it's really hyped, maybe it's good. And I don't know.
We talked about that book for a long time, and I didn't even read it.
I know.
Next book.
Mexican Gothic. This was, so if you are a patron, you have access to our Discord, and sometimes we do buddy reads.
I know, this was the buddy read.
Yeah.
I got it.
So we buddy read this book on Discord.
Can I see that book? Thanks.
And I really liked it. So it had like...
Ooh, I like the Christmassy.
I got it all filthy.
What is that? Makeup, maybe?
Probably. Because when I read it, I take the dust jacket off. So when this book came out, it had a lot of hype around it. So...
It's a nice cover. I like the...
it is really cool.
I like how her face is cut off.
Apparently, there's like a skull in the back somewhere, but I can never find it. And I tried to like Google it to see like where it is, but I can't find the skull. Like, show it on camera, because you can actually see the wallpaper on camera. And apparently there's some sort of skull, but I don't know.
Is it like... But there's no skull here. I'm sorry.
People just making stuff up that they want.
Remember, the human mind sees faces. That we are raised, and genetically we see faces in everything. It's like when 9/11 happened, people were seeing demonic faces in the smoke. Okay, yeah, it was probably there, but it probably wasn't a demon. That's all I'm saying.
So, I liked this book. I think originally I gave it a 4 stars. I think I'm probably gonna bump it down to 3.5 or a 4. I can't really figure it out. It's a girl.
I always say round down. When in doubt, round down.
Yeah, so it's a woman who I didn't like. The main character to me was narcissistic. She was...
What does narcissistic mean?
Like, full of yourself.
Got it.
She was not a really good person. She was very, like, rude in certain ways. Like, for example, one of the first things that they said when she walked into this house, this creepy house, was... don't smoke. That's like one of the rules here. So what does she do? She goes into her bedroom and like smokes. I mean, to me, that's just rude, and I just can't get behind characters like that. She didn't really grow as a character throughout the story.
What time does this take place in?
Oh, heck.
Like era. Is it like
early,
the 50s?
No, I want to say it was the 40s to 50s.
All right.
It's, I don't know. The setting was cool. It was atmospheric. The house was nice. There were some really good characters in it. Like, I can't remember anyone's name now. But one of the guys that lives at this house, I really liked him as a character.
Was he cute?
And the story was okay.
Was he cute? Should I be jealous?
Stop. The story was okay. Like, it did have, like, a supernatural / like, fantasy-esque aspect to it, but... I really couldn't get behind it that much. Like, it was okay. And I don't feel like anything in the story was, like, mind-blowing. And it was a little fantastical to the point where I'm like, like, it's supposed to be modern day, not modern day, but it's supposed to be real world, but I guess with fantastical elements. And, like, I have a hard time getting behind books like that. Like, if my fantasy, I like to be in a fantasy world. I'm a liar because... the Cassandra Clare books aren't like that, and I like her books, but I don't know. There was something about the fantasy in this that I really couldn't connect with. Other than that, it was a fine book. I just didn't like the main character.
I mean, 3.5 is not bad.
I think that's what I'll give it.
I know, that's why I said that. Good job, Meek.
Thanks, Meek.
Look at that.
So this was...
Oh, so just so you guys know, we make these we just print out the covers on these little things.
Pop them on there.
Yeah, we should make these for next year and put them up on the Etsy page for people.
We could.
Just kind of do like, reads for 2021.
Then I read Capturing the Devil by Carrie
Capturing the
Maniscalco.
Devil. Sorry, every time I hear that, I think of that song.
And... this is the 4th book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series.
Did at any point, did somebody eat cotton candy?
Yes.
Yes.
So.
Sorry.
Yeah, the World Fair was in this, but very small.
Was that where they ate cotton candy?
I think so.
Yes.
I think it was cotton candy.
That's the only thing I know about the World Fair.
I could just be making stuff up.
Maybe we talked about cotton candy.
Yeah, I don't know. But they were there temporarily and they ate something there. Maybe it was cotton candy.
Okay. They have food.
This was in my TBR jar of sequels that I wanted to read. I finally finished the series.
It's right here. Look at this, guys.
Yeah.
During our TBR video, we pick a book out of this jar. There are still how many? 4 left. Did we not? You're gonna have to pick 2. No, you did one last month. Okay, I got so nervous.
I just really love this series, guys. Like, I know, like, I didn't give it a 5 stars. I think the whole series throughout was about a 4. But and here I am, like, contradicting myself again because they're kind of like in our world, but in, like, you know, the early 1900s, but fantastical in a sense, but they're about, like, murder and figuring out who did it. And
I mean, it's okay. You could just say that you don't like the way they wrote the thing in that other book. You don't have to say that like all the time it's like that. It's obviously not. Things change. The way books are written change. The authors change. You know, maybe you just didn't like the way that they wrote a real world fantasy world.
I don't know. So this one, it's not really fantasy though. It definitely has almost kind of like, I would call it sci-fi because it's kind of science fiction mixed with like.
What I imagine is like Dracula on Netflix.
Yeah.
But like
there's no like I don't know.
What's happening over there? Sit down, dog. Sit down.
I don't know how to describe these books because they aren't technically fantasy, but they do have some like almost fantasy feelings, and some of it is a little like sci-fi fantasy. But anyway, I think Carrie Maniscalco is a really good writer, and I just enjoy her stuff, and I really connected with the characters. I cried a couple times in this book.
I have a question. Do we find out what that knife dagger thing is in her hand?
Yes.
Yeah, that thing looks cool. It's like a dragon wrapped around it. Like a
Can't tell you though because it'll spoil
Chinese
it.
style dragon. It's dope.
But yeah, I enjoy this.
What about this key on the back? Do you find out what this key is? It has a number 4 on it.
I don't remember. Probably.
I like things like that. I like when you see a book and you're like, oh, what the heck does that mean? Then you like get to that scene in the book or something, and it's like, oh, are there pictures in this? Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
They all have pictures.
Oh my god.
Oh my gourd.
Did you rate it already?
Nope.
Let's rate this sucker.
This one I gave a 4.5.
Wow.
It was my favorite out of the series. Wow. I really liked it. Then...
I gotta read The Toll, man. Was it good?
I think you should read this.
You think so? Dang, I got too many books
Dark
to read.
Matter by Blake Crouch.
Look at that cover. It's so cool. It's like...
I do not know how to rate this book. This was my wrapped book for July. And it's essentially about a scientist guy that creates this thing. I don't want to spoil it, but he ends up essentially... I can't, without spoiling it, it becomes like a multiverse situation.
Oh, I want to read this. I just got goosebumps. Look at my goosebumps. You said multiverse, and I was like, bang.
I specifically kept that word for this video for you. Like, the whole time I'm reading this, I'm like, Kivox would really like this, I think.
I'm digging it.
And it was really good. I didn't really expect to like it as much as I did. It was very, like, intriguing, and I kept wanting to read to figure out what the heck was going to happen. It was a little confusing at times, you know, timey-wimey stuff, but it was really interesting, and I feel like it was really well done to the point where in my next book of the month box, I already added his other book into my add-ons because I want to continue reading more by this author. So yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but I really enjoyed it. If you guys like any sort of like timey-wimey, like multiverse type stuff, I think you would like it. I give this one a 4.5 also.
Wow. You have no stars.
I don't. August. Now we're into August.
Wait. Oh, yeah, I didn't read any books last month.
This was my wrapped book. You already read this book.
Me or them?
You did.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it became part of the wrapped books that I had to read for this year, and I really enjoyed it. I just enjoy the way these authors write. I can't wrap my head.
It's multiple authors?
It's 3.
How is this possible?
Like, I don't know how they do it.
What are their names?
Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jody Meadows.
They're not all Janes?
No.
This whole time I thought that all 3 of them were Jane something.
No.
I swear to you, that is what I thought.
No. So they write about, like, historical Janes, like, or fake Janes or real Janes that existed.
You're a real Jane.
And totally mess with the story and make up their own story, and they always have, like, a fantasy element to it. This one had, like, a paranormal aspect.
Tell me how the best part was the Easter egg from the other book.
Definitely pretty dope.
Awesome.
So I just think these are fun, and
I know. Ooh, look at this, like
deckled edge.
Deckled edge. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it is technically like historical fiction, but like I don't know. Even if you don't like historical fiction, I feel like you can appreciate these books because they're fantasy-esque. What?
Nothing. What'd you give it, dude? 4.5.
No, I give it a 4.
Dang.
It was good. It's enjoyable. Yeah. This is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay.
I'm curious about this one.
It was good. It's basically just diary entries from, he was called what they call a junior doctor. In the UK, their whole medical system is 100% different than ours here in the US. So I found myself having to like look up some of the terms he was using. But it's essentially his diary entries of his life as a junior doctor. Which I thought was like a resident here, but it's really not a resident. They're like actual like working doctors like on their own. But yeah, I mean, it has some sad stories. It has some shocking stories. It has stuff that I've seen in the medical field that are kind of like I can relate to. But essentially, like, this is one of the books I chose for, I chose it for like the impactful, or what was it? It was like...
Funny?
No.
Hilarious.
This one was like, you were supposed to read a book like that impacts your life or something like that. I don't feel like it really changed my view on the medical system. Except
there are any books that we like.
Probably not.
Change your view on anything.
Like, I do know that I never want the U.S. to adopt the U.K.'s medical system ever. Like, and I've said this for a while now because I know I have friends that live in Canada and they tell me about their medical system, and I have read about the medical system in the UK through this book, and I'm just like, no, like, it's not something I want here. It's a tough time. They work crazy hours. They don't get paid enough, and you have people's lives in your hands. So it was impactful in a way, but it was definitely not as hard-hitting as I thought it would be, and it kind of ended a bit abruptly. I understand why the author stopped being a doctor, but I don't know if that explored it enough for me, just because you're only reading diary entries. I did, however, afterward go on and watched an interview of him talking about, like, a little more in depth as to, like, why he quit being a doctor, and I liked that more. I don't know. More of, like, an understanding of what happened.
Is that it?
Yeah.
So, I want to give you some bad news.
What?
You never sent me the book cover for that book.
I did.
Okay, where is it?
You didn't cut it out?
You cut them out.
Is it under this? Or we dropped it?
Meek, you did not send it to me. I'm telling you right now.
Well,
we'll be right back.
We're
back.
Whose fault was it?
It was your fault, Kivox. You did this, you dummy.
So, now I have the book cover. I gave it a 4.
4. A 4? Wow.
It was good. I mean, I like medical stuff. I like reading about medical stuff. And there were interesting stories in it.
We get to one that I read yet?
I mean, you could do one if you want. The only one you can do really is that one.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is which one? Yeah, where's the book?
Oh, downstairs.
Who forgot it?
Me.
I'll wait.
No, I don't want to. I just went downstairs.
I will wait right here. Doo-doo-doo. Just gonna wait here for a little while.
Go get it.
Just gonna hang out.
I already had to go downstairs because of your mistake. Now you can go downstairs because of my mistake.
Touche. I read Diamantine by Andrew Rowe. The second book in Weapons and Wielders. Boom, boom, boom. Got it, baby. I love Andrew Rowe's books. I like some better than others, but I think they're all really good. This is, for me, like on the top tier of his books.
Do you still like Sufficiently Advanced Magic better?
Yeah, but this is like a side story to Sufficiently Advanced Magic to me, like, so it's all like, to me, that's the original. Technically it's not, it's the other series that's more the original, and then this is a continuation of that kind of thing. But I feel like Sufficiently Advanced Magic is like in the middle of everything. It's kind of like the connecting. Actually, it's not technically. Kind of, this is the connection between everything. But to me, in like my timeline that I read them, I really like this book. It's really good. It's just like the other one. It picks up right where it left off. It has the same feeling. It has the same characters.
Humor.
The same humor, obviously. It's the same. It's
we know some people that have read it and like, or at least one person, like, he was like mind blown by the end of it.
Yeah, so there's like a little thing at the end, a little blurb at the end, like just like some of the other books have, where it's just like cliffhanger type thing. It's like, oh shoot, but it's like, I wasn't like
that blown away.
But maybe I read more fantasy than them.
Maybe
I'm just like more used to like weird stuff like that. Or maybe I'm just it's becoming like the
norm for him.
Yeah, like the, what is it called? M. Night Shyamalan syndrome, where there's always a twist. It's not really a twist though, but like, if an M. Night movie, you watch it and you're just like, where's the twist? Night, it's just like, it's always there. It's not really a twist. It's just more information that you didn't have before.
Shocking information.
Exactly. But it's super cool.
I haven't read it yet. I still need to read it.
I love the world. I love the magic. It definitely seems like he had some power creep happening. Mm-hmm. Which power creep is like when you start off characters and they just keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and by like the third book they're like god tier because they just keep getting, like Naruto, right? A lot of animes do that, and they just get stronger and stronger. Dragon Ball Z, like.
You said that, and I thought Dragon Ball.
Yeah, so
because like there's always like each season is like there's somehow an enemy that's even greater, even though he was already like a god.
Yeah. So
and then there's a god.
Yeah.
And then he gets better than the god anyway.
It's very similar to this, but I feel like in this book he tried to like tame them down a little bit. He kind of like, it almost seemed like there was a little bit of retconning happening with Karis's abilities.
Okay.
Which was interesting. Where like, he does fight some people that are significantly stronger than him, and you're like, oh shoot, like Karis is like badass, like what? How does this work? So it kind of like tones him down a little bit, and maybe he's not as strong as you think he is, but he has that like front.
But this is also before Sufficiently.
So the way that the actual book itself takes place after Sufficiently Advanced Magic, but he's telling the story of the past.
Yeah.
So like the character,
so it makes sense that he wouldn't be as powerful as we were used to seeing him in Sufficiently Advanced Magic.
Yes. But I don't know how many years it's been.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe it hasn't been that long, and but anyway, the story's super dope. It's super like fantasy, and the only downside about stories like this is since it's a prequel, that like nothing could happen to the main character. Like you're like, it's like Star Wars, Obi-Wan's gonna make it,
Legend of
Dritz, all these things are gonna happen. That's one downside of prequels to me.
I don't care.
There's
I don't mind.
There's no stakes, and how I love steaks, like a little medium rare, medium, whatever, like just nice juicy steaks. I recommend it. Take this. Do you have it?
No.
What?
It's right here.
All right. I thought you had it on your fingers. So I thought you were like handing it to me.
No.
Look at, guys, this is embarrassing. What happened this year?
All right, in your defense, you were training people at work for a long time, and work is where he listens to a lot of his audiobooks. What?
It's on par with my other sufficiently advanced magic books, okay? I didn't dislike anything about it. Okay. I loved all the characters. They introduced a couple of new things. It makes me want to read more. This is one of my favorite series. I'm a little biased because I like the other ones so much, so it automatically, as I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, I want more. Yes. And it sucks because at the beginning of the book, the main character that is telling the story says, they're on the train. They're on their way to somewhere else, right? Since Sufficiently Advanced Magic 2, which Shoulders of Titans, since that book, then this book came along, and then he started telling his story. And then now this book, the next one came out, so this is the second book, right? So Weapons and Wielders, the first one, and then the second one. So they've been on a train trip this whole time. And at the beginning of the book, he says, oh, I don't know if I'm going to have enough time to tell you the whole story. And I'm like, God, no, come on. And I knew that he wasn't going to be able to tell like the whole, because it's a big tournament like story, you know. There's like a big tournament thing, and it's cool, and it's weird, and it gives me a bunch of great ideas for D&D, and that's one of the reasons I love these books, is because I pull so much from them. I get so much data that you guys then have to fight in our sessions. I was debating. It was either a 5 or a star, and I felt generous.
Okay. Another buddy read book on Discord. We chose The Light Between Worlds. I did not like this book. Like, hardly at all.
Ooh, I'm excited. I love when you don't like books. It makes me so happy.
I feel... So I originally gave this a 2 stars. I think I'm bumping it down to like a 1.5. They call it like a Narnia retelling. I could totally see it.
This is the one that like was legit, had all the Narnia bits and bobs in it.
And it was predictable. I don't know. I had such a hard time connecting to these characters. Like, you basically go through the eyes of 2 different characters. The first like 70% of the book is one character, then you have another character. I just couldn't connect with any of the characters. I was getting so annoyed by the storyline, and like how I felt like it wasn't going anywhere. It just seemed very stagnant for an extremely long time. Nothing was happening except just wishing that she could go back to Narnia, essentially, but it wasn't Narnia. And I just, nothing happened. It was boring. I wasn't the only one that felt this way too. Pretty much everyone that read this book with me in the buddy read felt the same way. Like, some people DNF'd it. There was just no plot. It was very predictable. Pretty much like everyone guessed to the end. I tried to like come up with a different ending that I thought was going to happen, giving it more credit than it deserved, because, you know, they took the easy way out, and I just didn't like this book. It was written way too flowery, and it was just like, what's the point?
What'd you give it, dude? Here, I'll give you that. It's already unstuck. Here, you want to put it on mine?
To give you more credit.
Fill me up. Give me some more books for the year. One and a half. Yeah, look at this spread, dude.
I kept reading it because I wanted something to happen at the end. Like, I had this vision where I wanted it to go, and then they just went like, nah, this is gonna be the stereotypical like story where like everyone else guessed what was gonna happen, and I was just kind of hoping that it wouldn't turn out that way. I was trying to give the story more credit, but I was bored.
So that next book
is the wrapped book.
Is the one that I wrapped for you.
Yep. Black Star Renegades. this cover is terrible.
Yeah, it reminds me of, you know what it reminds me of? First of all, it's like fake, it's like CG, but it's
it almost looks like claymation. Like,
it's CG. It's like 90s CG.
Yeah.
Like did you guys ever watch Reboot? Probably not, but like the old, remember Reboot? Where they're like,
No.
Reboot, tink tink.
Nope.
Anyway, it looks like that, but it also reminds me of Firefly.
This story, I didn't go into it with, I want to say I gave it like medium hopes. Like I thought I would enjoy it because it seemed very like sci-fi and
Did they talk about what a black star is? Is that like a
No, not at all.
Is it like a black hole? Like a black star is like a black hole?
No.
Do they ever talk about what a black, is it like their group name?
No.
Do they mention Black Star? Do they say Black Star in the book?
Not that I remember.
What?
So
how is that even possible?
It wasn't really
Sufficiently Advanced Magic. They say sufficiently 30,000 times. He says sufficiently so many oftens.
It still was a really fun book. I really enjoyed it. It basically was like reading a Star Wars story about a side character.
Oh, like, cool.
It was very Star Wars influenced, and you could absolutely tell. The worlds seemed very Star Wars. It literally felt like I was reading a Star Wars novel. Like, this author could absolutely write Star Wars.
Nice. Was there lightsabers?
No, but
proto beams.
There were
swords?
Weapons, like special weapons, like a powerful weapon. It was like called the Rokura, and they had to like go find like the rightful owner of the Rokura. It was a really cool book. I really enjoyed it. Very adventurous. They had some great characters, and like
is this another 4?
The main character was really good.
It sounds like a 4.
And I think you would like it. I think we have the audiobook. I do have the audiobook.
I think you gave this one a 4.
Are you looking at my ratings?
No, did you give it a 4?
Yeah.
Yeah. Meek, I just go by how you make me feel. You know, you make me feel like you gave it a 4. Wow, you almost made it all the way across. I want to switch mine because I think I have like doubled up.
Oh, yeah.
It's not as fun. Yours is better. You did a better job this year than I did. I hate you.
So then once we finished Light Between Worlds because no one liked it, one of my prompts for the readathon, which I didn't go over like what all these books were for, but basically it was like a dragon prompt, and everyone's been giving this book hype lately, so we all decided to read Fireborn.
You gave it a 3, is my guess.
So I was really bored for like half of it.
That loses 1 point. That's
and then
down
it
to a 4.
Started getting a little better.
Okay, 4.5.
Stop. 4.5. It started getting better, and I don't know. So you're reading through two characters' eyes, and essentially they're in this battle to become like the next first writer, like of,
okay. You
dragons.
get quotey fingers. That brings it back down to a 4.
I forget what it's called, like their title. I couldn't really get into the politics of the world and the world itself, and
3.5.
Stop. You're distracting me. But the characters themselves were okay, and the overall story was pretty good. However, the ending I really enjoyed.
Oh, shoot.
So, I was not planning on continuing this series because I didn't love the ending. I mean, the whole thing besides the ending. But I may continue someday. I don't know. Because I really did enjoy the ending. Like, they didn't... I don't know how to say it. Like, the main character did what I thought they should have done under the situation. And I didn't think that they were going to go that way.
3.5.
That makes sense.
Final verdict is 3.5 if we started off at a 4 as opposed to a 5. My book started at a 5.
Dude, how did you know?
3.5?
Yeah. That's literally what I wrote down. I'm thinking 3.5 out of 5.
Nice. I know you.
I guess so.
I know my sister very well.
Then, our book club pick.
Whoa, did you see those skills? Just like pop that thing out.
Our book club pick for August, we just did the live stream. I love Dritz. He's my book boyfriend. No one can have him.
Guinevere is my book boyfriend.
It's a girl.
Doesn't matter. Still my boyfriend.
And I don't know. I just love this series. I love Dritz. I love the magic. I love that this is set in like D&D type setting.
Forgotten Realms, it's called.
Yeah.
I think it says it somewhere in the front here. Maybe there. Forgotten Realms.
You read this.
I did. You read it.
Yeah.
Dude, do we have a star?
I've been rating the reading rating. I've been reading these books since I was like in high school.
So like 39 years ago.
And I just will always have a special place in my heart for these books. And you didn't love it as much.
No, but I didn't dislike it. I just look. I haven't rated a book in my bottom page, and this is not a bottom page book. Okay.
Okay.
So it's gonna be up top somewhere. Just don't know yet.
So it's essentially about a character named Dritz, who's a drow, lives in the Underdark, and he doesn't have the mindset of his people. And he doesn't feel like he belongs there with his people because they're inherently a bad, evil race. And it's him trying to cope with that and, like, living in this world that he hates.
Okay.
Essentially.
I'll allow it.
And I love this series.
Now, my problem that I had with it was that it's technically possibly the fourth book in this series.
Yeah.
So it was, but it's a prequel.
He wrote it fourth.
It's the fourth book, but it's the first book in the timeline, right? But it's the fourth book.
So it's like watching episode 1 in
of
Star Wars instead of starting at 4 like everyone else did.
Which, if you start at 4, it makes you more curious about what happened in the past. You know, if you start at 1, it's just like, okay, cool. I'm just gonna watch this war thing. Okay, there's some clones. All right, younglings. Okay, cool. Oh, whoa! Now they're adults. You know, it's like it just.
So apparently, I made the mistake by having him read
book
1 instead of book 4.
Maybe this is just me. I didn't feel as in like. Also, I want to hate on Dritz because you like him so much. So, you know, I'm a little jealous there.
He's so awesome.
And he's not that cool.
He's
I wouldn't say he's that cool. You better give this thing a 5. You said there were no stars in this bundle. You lied to me. This is
just like, I will always love these stories, and it has such nostalgia for me that I could
Peel mine.
I can't give it under that. I've read this book like 5 times.
I'm going to give it a 3.5. I'm going to give it a 4.
Yay!
I changed my mind. I'm being generous today. I'm in a good mood.
I guess so. Are you going to read book 2 with me?
I already said I was.
I know. Then, lastly, I read Midnight Sun.
Whoa.
This is an enormous book.
Flip that cover upside down.
What?
Flip it upside down. It looks like a skull.
Oh, yeah.
Like an alien skull.
I think it's a pomegranate.
It is.
They mentioned pomegranate in this like 10 times, so I understand why the cover isn't ugly.
Pomegranates are very creepy looking. They're like, they have those
I was
little
gonna say, like, I understand why
eggs.
It's an ugly pomegranate, because everyone talked about how ugly this book cover is, and it's not the most appealing out of all the Twilight books. People can hate on me. I've always loved Twilight. I think it's a fun, great series.
I'm pretty sure that most people like Twilight.
I feel like people love to hate on it, but they secretly like it most of the time. Because even you like Twilight.
They hate on it, though, because of the movies. Yeah, they hate on Twilight because the movies were good. They were entertaining. They had some good things to it, but there are so many flaws to the things. But the world that she created for vampires, in my opinion, were very unique. They were very different than a regular traditional vampire, and for that, I will always like the Twilight books.
I don't understand why this book is like double the size of original Twilight.
Maybe because Edwin is just a little bit more interesting.
Edward?
What?
Edwin.
I said Edwin? And maybe because Edward is just a little bit more interesting than dumb Bella.
I think...
Also, he's an old man.
I think my problem with this book is that I've read the original like 5 times, and there wasn't enough uniqueness to it for me. So, like, the parts where Bella isn't there and it's only Edward is interesting to me because I've never read that aspect. But the parts where they're together and the conversations they have, I've read so many times before that it was just redundant and boring.
Did you actually check to see how similar they are?
They're very, like, it's the
same
conversation. Is it verbatim?
Like, did she pull up the other book?
Yeah, she
and like
must
just
have.
Copied it and then.
Because I quoted some of the quotes as they were saying it.
Got it.
Like by
verbatim.
Got
it.
So it's exactly, the conversations are the same.
They should
You're just
be.
Getting,
I would
like,
hope.
His point of view, like what's in his mind. he's very broody and kind of emo, like, a lot. So that gets...
He's like Dritz.
No. So that got a little annoying, like, in the beginning. He was even more broody. But, I don't know. The part that I really enjoyed reading about is, like, when... And I'm sorry if this is a spoiler, but Twilight's been out forever. When James tricks Bella and, like... Or he's chasing her and she runs off to Arizona to hide from him.
I don't even remember this happening.
I really liked reading, like, that point of view, like, so at what Edward was doing during that time, because they separate for a while, and you don't really know what happened and what he was doing, and they don't really explain it. So, reading that part was probably my favorite part. Just basically the new stuff that I didn't really know about. Other than that, I think I've just read Twilight too many times, so there was not enough uniqueness for me for it to be, like, 700 pages. But I really enjoyed it. I mean, would I read it again anytime soon? No, but
I like the font.
It was good.
I like the Twilight font.
Yeah. Here you go.
What is a midnight sun?
The moon?
Mind blown, dude. You just, like, changed my life.
Rate. That's yours.
Dang, I was hoping. One of these days, Alice.
So what'd I give it?
Oh. 3.5.
I give it a 4.
Dang, that's too generous.
I don't think so. So that's it. Finally, this video was forever long.
Forever long. It was also forever overdue. So
true.
That's what you
but
get.
I did read a lot last month. I'm hoping to kind of continue reading a decent amount, for this month, because I kind of sucked the last few months and I didn't read a lot. So
for those of you that stuck around this long, let's throw a word out there that you're gonna have to include in your sentence if you leave a comment, just so that we know that you're dope and cool like us. Heir. The word is heir, not like heir.
Like heir to a throne.
Like no, either one. You could either do heir to the throne or a
like
throne,
air bending,
or air bending. Arrow.
Let us know down below if you agree with us or disagree with us on any of these books.
And also that first thing we talked about at the very beginning of the video. If you don't remember, go back and watch that first 15-minute rant there. That was fun.
I just feel like people are afraid to be honest.
I agree. They are. They're just, and
because you will get ripped apart in this day and age, unfortunately. Like, you say one wrong thing and you're canceled. It's like cancel culture. People love canceling people. I'm sure someone will probably cancel us now, but like J.K. Rowling is canceled in everyone's mind. I don't know. I just feel like
don't worry.
There's never black and white. There's always an in-between. You need to kind of be open-minded.
Yeah, I've heard there's like 50 Shades of Grey at least. And that book I don't like and I will never read. So, but I've heard about it and it's smut.
Oh, yeah.
It's just pure. I don't get how that happened.
I tried reading it
once.
And
guess what? Speaking of Twilight, it's a Twilight, what's it called?
Yeah. I tried reading it once,
fanfic.
And the writing was some of the worst writing I've ever seen in my life, and I was just like, I can't read this. It's so bad.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. You want to say bye, Meek?
Bye, Meek.
Leave a comment, like the video, join our Patreon if you want. Gives you access to the Discord. You guys do a lot of book stuff on Discord. Bye.
Bye.